I moved into Willow Creek for one reason: peace. After years designing electrical systems for tech companies, I wanted a quiet neighborhood where I could breathe, sip coffee, and work on my solar projects without anyone hovering over my shoulder. Willow Creek looked perfect: clean lawns, friendly waves, and not a single barking dog in sight. So I bought the house at the end of the cul-de-sac and imagined a calm new chapter. 2 days after I unpacked, I noticed a white Tesla parked suspiciously close to my driveway. Sometimes its bumper sat inches from my grass. I assumed it was a visitor, maybe a neighbor's guest, nothing worth worrying about. But it kept showing up every morning, every night, always in the same spot. Odd but harmless. Then I met her, Karen, the HOA president. She approached with a porcelain smile and a posture that suggested she owned not just the neighborhood, but the entire world. Clipboard tucked under one arm, she rattled off community expectations in a tone sugar-coated with superiority. I forced a polite smile, unaware that this woman would soon turn my peaceful life into a power-stealing circus. The Tesla wasn't random, and Karen wasn't done with me. A week passed before my first electricity bill arrived, almost double what it should have been. I frowned, confused. I wasn't even fully moved in yet. I barely used the oven, barely touched the AC, and all my tools were unplugged. Something didn't add up, so I checked my outdoor outlets. And there was faint scratches left by someone repeatedly inserting a charging cable. My stomach dropped. No way, right? I pulled up my security camera feed and began scrubbing through the footage. And then I saw her. At 2 a.m., like a thief in yoga pants, Karen quietly walked her Tesla to the edge of my driveway, uncoiled a charging cable, and plugged it into my outlet. She stayed long enough for the battery to hit a comfortable charge before slinking away. I confronted her the next morning, politely, calmly. She blinked at me, offended. I would never do something illegal, she snapped. Maybe one of your friends did. I don't have friends here, Karen. Within hours, I received my first HOA notice, claiming I was harassing her. Suddenly, I was the villain. She stole my power, lied to my face, and now the HOA was backing her up. That's when I realized this was deliberate. Once Karen realized I knew, she didn't stop. She escalated. Her Tesla began appearing during the day now. Not hidden, not secret, bold like she wanted me to see it. She even draped her charging cable across my lawn, scratching my siding, knocking over my tools, leaving muddy footprints near my porch. Every time I disconnected her charger, she reconnected it twice as fast. And the HOA? They weren't on my side. Instead, I received warnings about improper outlet management and unsafe electrical access. Meanwhile, Karen pranced around the neighborhood with an air of triumph, complaining loudly that I was unstable and creating tension. Rumors spread quickly. People whispered. Some avoided eye contact. Others apologized quietly, telling me they'd deal with her too if they weren't afraid of retaliation. Turns out, Karen had bullied half the neighborhood already, but everyone kept their heads down to avoid her wrath. My camera caught her charging her Tesla 5 times in 1 week. My utility bill kept climbing. This wasn't just a nuisance, it was theft. Arrogant, entitled theft. I tried everything, talking calmly, sending emails, filing complaints. Each time, she smirked like she was untouchable, like the rules didn't apply to her. And honestly, at that moment, they didn't. So I stopped reacting emotionally and started thinking mechanically. If she wanted to play with electricity, she chose the wrong engineer to mess with. I knew one thing. If I fought her directly, she'd twist the narrative and somehow make me the problem. So instead, I went by the book. I researched electrical codes, city regulations, and property rights. Then I found my solution, a surge-protected smart outlet. Not just any surge protector. A commercial-grade, legally compliant model designed to prevent unauthorized usage by redirecting sudden voltage fluctuations back into the connected device. It wasn't dangerous to people, but to electronics? Catastrophic and completely legal. I wired the outlet to detect unfamiliar devices drawing power. If anything unauthorized connected, the outlet activated a sharp surge cycle. Brief, legal, but devastating for sensitive car chargers. Tesla chargers, in particular, hated inconsistent voltage. One spike could scramble the onboard charging module. I installed on my property, documented everything, took photos, saved receipts, and followed every code to the letter. Then I waited. If Karen kept stealing power, she'd plug her Tesla into a trap that was 100% lawful. I didn't have to break rules. I just had to let her break herself on them. It happened at exactly 2:17 a.m. My security system pinged my phone. Motion detected. I opened the feed and saw her, Karen, creeping across my lawn with a charging cable in her hand. She scanned the street as if expecting witnesses, then casually plugged into my outlet like she owned it. She walked back to her Tesla, smoothed her hair, and slid inside to scroll through her phone while the car charged. Then it hit. My smart outlet detected an unauthorized draw and activated the surge cycle. A faint pop echoed. The Tesla's headlights flickered, then glitched violently. Error messages flashed across its dashboard like fireworks. Karen's head shot up. She leaned forward, confused. Then the Tesla went dead. Completely dead. Its charging port clicked, then locked shut. The security system froze. Interior lights flickered and died. The whole car bricked itself, alarm sputtering before cutting off entirely. Karen stumbled out, staring at her now lifeless luxury vehicle in horror. I sat inside my house watching the feed, silent, calm, not gloating, just patiently waiting for the consequences she created. By the time she realized what had happened, the damage was irreversible. At sunrise, I stepped outside to grab my newspaper and walked straight into chaos. Karen stood beside her dead Tesla, screaming into her phone. Her hair was a mess, her face blotchy with stress and disbelief. When she saw me, she stomped toward my porch. "You destroyed my car," she shrieked. I blinked. By being asleep, she jabbed a finger toward the outlet. "You rigged something. This is sabotage." Right on cue, the police car rolled up. She had called them, of course. But I was ready. I calmly showed the officers my security footage. Karen repeatedly trespassing and charging without permission. I showed the electrical logs proving unauthorized usage. I showed the receipts and documentation showing the outlet was legal, inspected, and compliant with city code. One officer turned to her. "Ma'am, this appears to be theft." Her jaw dropped. I was just borrowing. Everyone shares power." "No," he corrected. "You were stealing power. Multiple times." Her face collapsed. And then the best part. The Tesla diagnostics technician arrived, connected his handheld scanner, and frowned. "Your onboard charger is fried. The logs show an unauthorized charging event that caused the failure. This isn't covered by warranty." Karen looked like she might pass out. By noon, the whole neighborhood knew. Karen, queen of the HOA, destroyer of fines, defender of community standards, had bricked her own Tesla by stealing electricity. Neighbors who once feared her suddenly grew loud. People came forward with videos, screenshots, complaints, years of bullying documented in minutes. The HOA board called an emergency meeting. Karen tried to talk her way out of it, blaming me, the outlet, the city, the sky. Anything except her own actions. But the board had seen enough. The vote to remove her as HOA president passed unanimously. Then came the kicker. She was fined for trespassing, theft, and property misuse. The HOA had to issue a formal apology to me. Karen, once untouchable, was dethroned in a single afternoon. Karen avoided me for weeks. She didn't walk her usual laps around the neighborhood. Her Tesla sat in her garage, broken, while she waited for a repair bill large enough to choke a rhino. Meanwhile, the neighborhood changed. People talked more. They stood up for themselves. And for the first time since moving in, I felt like Willow Creek wasn't run by fear, but by community. I even proposed a new idea. A solar-powered community charging station. Legal, safe, fair. The board approved it. Neighbors loved it. Funny how things work out. Karen tried to steal power, but she taught everyone how to take power back. The real lesson? When someone abuses authority, you don't need revenge. You just need to let the truth and the voltage do the work.